Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to I'll Go Do tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome for the second time, still post Season 3 of RML by a few minutes, to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf, and this is the second time we've done this intro.
I wonder if the first one made it in as a blooper. I don't know. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. We got a fun show. We got a lot of fun things. We got a good amount of emails. By the way, let's, right off the top, MSWpodcast@gmail.com. If you just heard me say that, it means you have the opportunity to email into the show, and you should take it, because we like to hear from you. And some group of you keep listening consistently enough that it's even blowing my mind. So some group of you should type out a little email, even if it's just like a couple sentences. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the regular listeners. Shit. All right? So do it. MSWpodcast@gmail.com. We got a bunch of emails today, so I'm excited. And it's a fun time in Marble Sports, the end of Season 3 of RML, so we're going to be covering that. We got some MOMOMOMOMO Motorway coming up for you as well, so this should be a pretty packed and exciting show. Anything other than marbles that's in my life that's important and worth sharing on this podcast? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, Cuphead released their Delicious Last Course, their DLC, finally. But by the way, this is true. It's really stupid, but it's true. It took me until like literally yesterday to understand, to realize that Delicious Last Course was a pun for DLC, downloadable content. It took me this long. They've been working on that for 2 years, and I just realized it yesterday. I was like, because I saw they had on the little, because I listened to the soundtrack, of course, because I love the music. I wanted to hear how the new songs were. And then on the soundtrack album cover, they have Delicious Last Course, and then like just like the acronym DLC right next to each other. And I was like, oh, that's what they were doing. That's clever. I was really stupid, but I eventually got to the right answer. But no, I listened to that soundtrack. It was good. I actually thought a lot of the songs were good. I think I definitely prefer the original Cuphead soundtrack more, because I love that old-timey jazz style. I love when there's a lot more extended solos. One of the things that the new songs had, while still amazing and jazzy, and is that they didn't have many extended solos. Like there are long enough solos in some of the Cuphead songs that if you listen to the Cuphead soundtrack long enough, that like some of the solos become iconic. Like I could literally whistle for you like 7 or 8 different of the solos off the top of my head from some of the Cuphead music, but because they're almost their own mini songs, because some of them are so long and are so creative. I mean, obviously the songs are still great in the DLC, but there's no, for some reason the choice was not to have long solo sections, so it doesn't have this like that, and that's what really kind of separated a lot of the old songs from me from the original game, just like some of the iconic sounding solos. But that being said, still great music, still bananas music.
I mean, was the composer the same for the DLC as the main game?
Yes, and they took a different style. They kind of blended classical and rococo with like jazz, and it had some crazy sounds and wonderful music for sure. All that being said, though, if you're a big Cuphead fan, I mean, you'll probably know what's out, but definitely go check out the soundtrack if you enjoyed the music from the original, because it is worth a listen.
Cool. In my life, I'm just like, again, getting used to work. Like I'm shadowing the techs right now, so I'm doing like the 12-hour shifts right now. It's been fun. Like I do get to I get along with them pretty well. They're nice, but it is exhausting. But like then I get like those like long weekend days, where I get several days off. So like it's a give and take. Like you either work basically for 3 days straight, but then you get a lot of days off, whereas like other days, like you get like an evening to yourself before, and then like you get your weekends. But like it's, it is what it is. Being an adult, it's being an adult.
Yeah, it'll never stop being that way. That's the thing. Once you get into adulting, there is no going back. But that's just how it be. So don't rush, guys. If I have any advice, don't rush. Enjoy, and it's so hard to do this because I was told this a million times, and for a while I just never did. Really just try to enjoy the stuff that's joyful currently. And it's so hard to do that because it's so easy and so natural to just worry about the future stuff that you're looking forward to or dreading. To just worry about it or want to be there because you're looking forward to something, or not want to be there without a lot of preparing and thinking because you're dreading it. Enjoy what's right in front of you, because at later stages, things change so much, and there's never any going back. And it's not to say that all of adulting is bad. I actually, there's some good things about being older, and the different stages of life all have their perks and their different positives, but you never can go back. I can never go back to being in middle school and enjoying what I did as a middle schooler. I can never go back to being in high school and enjoying in the same way. And then eventually I'll never be able to go back to college and enjoy what I enjoyed then too, and so on and so forth. And then once I have a family one day, if Marbula has a family, then I can never go back to the before and the stuff I enjoyed when I was a single adult. Like every time you progress, you can't really go back. You don't really have the time. So enjoy and be joyful about the stuff that is happy and wonderful now. And then you'll find that you really love it in the moment.
Yeah, and like one other piece of advice from an old man here.
Old man.
Like don't tunnel vision your goal. Like there were some times near the end of high school and even the beginning of college, my dad's like, "Are you sure you want to be an engineer?" And like I never really gave other options more of a deeper thought. But it wasn't until my senior year that I realized just how much I enjoy voice acting, and I now realize that maybe I would have preferred being a voice actor. So now I'm like, it's just important to, like, even if you think you know what you want to do, don't tunnel vision yourself. Really explore other options and like see what it is you can enjoy in life, because it may not be clear to you. Like I didn't know I liked voice acting to the degree I did until my senior year, and so like don't tunnel vision yourself. Really broaden your horizons.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I had a very big tendency to do that, and still sometimes do over just the course of my life, where I would get stuck on a new topic or a new interest, and I'd be like, well, this is the only thing I'm going to put any attention into, and whatnot. So, I mean, I can't stress enough that you got to keep your options open, and don't say, oh, this new thing that I'm interested in, this is the only thing that I'm fulfilled by or pursuing or whatever, and just that's all the places your energy is going. Because then if you burn out on it or find out you don't like parts about it, then you don't really you kind of are left out floating out in the middle of nowhere, so just be aware of that. And then also but if you have a lot of different things and you're not sure which one you like to do, then really make sure you spend some time pursuing everything a little bit, especially when you're younger, because, obviously for some careers it's hard. It's hard to become a voice actor and have a steady, stable voice acting job off the bat. It's hard. It's very difficult. And same with what I like to do, broadcasting. Like I can't just go and be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to have a triple-figure broadcasting job starting out of college. No. But, I mean, I found ways to pursue it. I'm also an engineer, so funny. But, and that's definitely more stable. But I found ways. I made my own side job. I emailed channels that didn't have commentary and said, but what if I did? In as many words. And so you can do that, and if you have passions or hobbies, and if you're good at them or want to really pursue them, then take that time and really try to make, put that extra effort in to try to make it your own, because people will give you opportunities, but you have to work and reach out to make them happen. So there's a bunch of random advice from the both of us here, but I didn't think this is where the intro was gonna go. I just wanted to talk about the Cuphead songs.
That's what we're talking about. Cuphead. That's where you get.
Okay. Well, if anything else?
No, I think that's all. I think it's time to head to the news.
Couldn't agree more. Without further ado, let's go to the news.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I'm Commander Wolf, here with the Marble Sports Worldwide News. We've got some big news to cover, so let's get right to it. First up, we have Marbula 1 Season 3, Race 7 at Mo Motorway. A very classic track, with only one change being that the booster has now become a ramp. This race was quite the roller coaster of emotions, as the standings were pretty all over the place. Prim, who started in first, quickly lost a lot of their momentum and ended in 18th. Not very good. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have Dash, who started off pretty well at the beginning, and by the end had finished all the way in first place. And not just that, but also with the fastest lap. This marks the first victory for the Turtle Sliders in Marbula 1, and it is quite a sight to see. Congratulations to Dash and the team. But not to be forgotten is Yellow Eye, who finished in second. A pretty great finish for the returning champion for this track. And finally in third is Shimmer from the Shining Swarm. The second half of Marbula 1 Season 3 has just begun, and things are already looking quite interesting. So do not miss the races to come. And now let's move on to the finale of the Racing Marble League Season 3 with Race 6 at the Turnpike Board track. This track is very notable for two reasons. The first being that it is the first all-wooden track in the series, and the second being a big drop featured in the middle of the track. This drop proved to not be too much of a challenge for the racers, although Fury did end up falling short in one of the laps. But the biggest moment came when T-Bot flew off of the track after coming out of the booster. They nearly managed to land back on the track, but they were unfortunately just a few millimeters short. The race was truly intense right up into the very end, as each place was vital to determine who would end up winning overall. By the end of the race, Wild Canuck, in a very dominant performance, took first, followed by Serpent Smart in second, and after a very, very close finish, Swirly took third. This performance would prove vital, as looking at the final standings, Swirly, our rookie for this year, managed to take first overall by only 2 points. In second, close behind, is Serpent Smart, and in third is Tornado. Congratulations to these 3 marbles for such an incredible season. All 3 of them actually managed to make it into the triple digits. Swirly's career is off to an incredible start, and we look forward to seeing them and all the other marbles in the league back again for Season 4. Well, that's all the news. Thank you for listening. I'm Commander Wolf. You are the best fans in the world. Let's kick it on back with the podcast.
All right, we are back from the news. Thank you, Waff Johnny Marble, for that. Whatever you did, you're doing good. But we're back from the news. We got a bunch of things we want to cover. We have emails. We have RML, which is relatively important at the moment. And, of course, we have the Mo Motorway, which is of utmost importance. But I would say let's start Mo Motorway, hit the emails, and then round out with RML. So, Mo Motorway... I personally like this course. I personally do really appreciate this track. I have a lot of mixed opinions on a lot of different tracks in Marbula 1. But this one I like the progression. I like how it starts slow and technical, then has a very clear break moment in the middle with the drop that allows for a quick transition into fast racing, and then the supporting track after that drop really lends itself to fast racing. Mm-hmm. Easy corners for speed, and long enough straights in between to really allow the speed to develop. I also like that one kind of kind of semi-Muller corner, I guess they do on the one hairpin, where it's at least divided into 2 lanes, and the 2 lanes exist for a good long time, starting in the straight and going through the corner. Those kinds of things I thought really added to the track as a whole. I guess what I'm saying is I'm just jumping into the track design, but those things were big for me. I really enjoy those things. So Momomotorway always scores very high for me as just a track to enjoy. I feel like I give it like a 7 the last couple times. I might even get higher this time. But Waff, initial impressions on the track and the race.
Yeah, aesthetically, I really like the ocean. Like it feels like one of the most full environments. Like the green grass on the ground. I think across the entire track. It makes it feel the most vibrant in a way, even if there's not a whole lot of Asian theming, which is kind of strange, but it is what it is. I like that the drop is there, and that the old booster had the boost pad and then the uncovered track parts to slow down marbles. The booster kind of did something, but here the drop, while it does affect all marbles now, does actually give him a decent speed boost, which makes the last section a lot faster, and I kind of appreciate that. So yeah, Motorway, honestly, 7. It's a pretty good solid 7, yeah.
I'd probably give it an 8, to be honest, track-wise. And the race was also exciting as well. I do want to point out one thing that was big, because remember back when we were talking about Red Eye in the Mellow Yellow race. And we had that whole analysis that term completely ignored, by the way, and just focused on the fact that I didn't like rapidly. But whatever. We had this whole wonderful analysis, and this is one of my favorite moments in the podcast for a while, where we dove into what was that? Well, I guess we didn't really come up with a nice term for it. That pinching maneuver, that slingshot maneuver between that a marble kind of it's not really caused. It's like a marble lets it happen to themselves in order to be shoved away for speed.
A compression maneuver, maybe?
Yeah, a compression maneuver, whatever you want to call it. In the qualifiers for Momomoto, and this happened a few times in the regular race to a lesser degree, because there's sometimes very obvious slingshot maneuvers, and then sometimes it's like the marbles aren't touching, like they're just barely scraping each other, but it still makes a little effect on the speed for that sandwiched marble. But so it happens a lot. It's just sometimes it's very obvious. In the Momomotorway, Cosmo brought that maneuver upon himself in that last lap of the qualifying, the Q2, that Q2 race for pole. And he almost, and I guess I can pull it up here on the YouTube if you guys really want to see, but he almost overtook first place. Very close. And I was really excited to see that. Because that maneuver, it's one of those maneuvers that you just, if I never brought it up, most of you might have never even noticed that that's something that commonly happens race to race. But it was so wonderful to see that attempt put on. And then it almost actually worked. Here, I'm going to try to move forward here. We'll go. You should be on the Chrome here watching this with me. I'll go to 0.25 speed just so we can really see it again.
Analyzing the qualifiers. This is a new one for you.
Final lap here. We'll just kind of let it percolate, to use a overused word. So here we go. So you see Cosmo here on the left coming down to the middle, and then he kind of flips back right, and you see behind him is Shimmer. Look at this. I think it was here in the last lap. Look, he cuts inside in front of Shimmer and then almost catches right up with Prim. Do you see that? He's on top of Prim. Even at 0.25 speed, you can see the change in speed between. Yeah. I mean, this is wonderful. Yeah. This is when you see. Look at it. He's cutting inside, but then he sees Shimmer there going right to the wall and cuts back in front. Oh my God, that is one of the most expert marble sports maneuvers I've seen.
I love that.
If you are not aware of this, please watch this with me on the YouTube show one more time, because this is so one of the most important high level maneuvers that a veteran racer can pull off. I mean, this is just beautiful to see, because what Cosmo does here, I'm going to pause for a second. What Cosmo's doing here is Cosmo has peripherals. Cosmo has good course awareness, because you can't pull this off if your awareness of other marbles is not is not there, because not only do you need to be in the right place at the right time, but other marbles don't want this to happen to them, because the other marble that is affected by this maneuver loses a lot of momentum. They usually end up stopping for a brief second, or they end up going even backward for a second, or they just end up half speed. And actually, Shimmer here is more of a half speed case, but case to case to case. When we analyzed Red Eye, I believe it was Clementine, but it might have been Orange, and whichever one it was actually came to a dead stop for a millisecond or so. So it is not in another marble's best interest to be involved in this maneuver. So you not only have to have that great course awareness to be in the right place at the right time, but to know when to aim yourself to the right place for the right time, so that the other marble is not expecting it, seeing it coming, and doesn't have time to adjust to make sure it doesn't happen. Because look here, Cosmo here goes inside, almost juking out Shimmer for a second to be like, okay, I'm taking this inside line to try to cut off Prim. Shimmer leaves to the outside, and obviously Shimmer's strategy at this point is to run right into that outside curve early on and try to whip through the outside curve, which is, you'll see the direction here. Look at the direction here. If you could see my mouse pointer, he's just come off the edge here. He's about to roll with that outside line, and usually if you can roll that outside line of the curve strong when you start outside beforehand, you sometimes pick up some nice speed through that kind of whipping motion. And so, I mean, right now, I mean, Cosmo and Shimmer are almost even, and Cosmo is not giving any signs that he is trying to pull this off right now. But he sees Shimmer there. He knows what Shimmer's plan is and chooses this moment to cut right back. Dude, the direction cut. I mean, look at the cut, Waff. Do you see this cut?
It's very good.
Look at this cut.
Love it.
Look at this cut. Back again. Look at how crazy this change of direction is. Shimmer goes out, it goes inside here, and then at the right moment cuts back away. That is amazing. And then and it was timed perfectly. He got right in between. Shimmer was about to hit the apex of this turn to try to take the back half of it for some speed, and Cosmo cuts right in front. Shimmer can do nothing. Shimmer can do no shit, okay? There's nothing Shimmer can do. And look at this. Boom, slingshot, and even on 0.25 speed. I literally paused like maybe a quarter of a second later. Look at the distance between these two marbles already. Then look at it. Look at the distance now. This is not even a quarter of a second later. The distance now. Now we split Prim and Shimmer halfway. Boom. Actually touches Prim only a second later, or even half right here. And unfortunately, Prim got a lucky bounce, I think, off of this bumper, so kind of shot forward a length and had a really good sling through that final turn. But that was amazing and close, and I give a lot of props to Cosmo for being able to think that, see it, and execute it in the end of that race against other skilled marbles and actually almost pull it off. That was really, overall, one of the most wonderful things that I've seen probably in Marbula 1 this season, besides, of course, Red Eye's maneuvers.
That's pretty awesome. I honestly miss it. I think I really need to get back into like looking way more closely at races, because admittedly, both because of my time being spent on other things and also having seen so many races, I have not been watching them as close as I used to. And I think I am missing out on a lot of the fun because of that.
Yeah, that's what, and like I fall into the same thing, because things have been admittedly not easy lately as far as energy and being able to make time for everything. But so I just tend to make time so I'm watching the races right before the show, because then I can, if I catch that, it's in my head, right? And then I'm like, all right, I blocked this time out for the show. I blocked a little extra time out to watch the races beforehand, so I'm going to look for things that are cool so I can go right into the show and talk about them. Because if I watched it way before and then I didn't prepare, then I would forget, because then I wouldn't have time to sit down and kind of, write a bunch of notes out. So I don't have to write the notes out because I'm literally watching the race right beforehand, so all the things in my head are coming out right now. But truthfully, that maneuver is, I don't know, that one is just so big, and I keep bringing it up because we missed it for years. Waff. First two seasons of Marbula 1, I never even brought it up.
Well, do we know it was there? Have those maneuvers been done?
Those maneuvers were going on, I think, in some degree, definitely in the first 2 seasons. I would actually like to go back and watch earlier races and see how often they happen. I bet there's some examples. It's just something that our eyes didn't catch until we've seen a lot of racing. Because this is more of a Marbula 1 thing. You're not going to see this in balancing or even San Marble Rally, really, because it's more of a straight run there. But I mean, this is I just find this particular mover so high level, so advanced, so like only elite racing capability that I don't know, this worth pointing out, worth analyzing, and I hope for the people that actually get to watch the visual part of this show with us, you can really enjoy what I just showed you there with Cosmo, because that's a clear example. We got to see it clear. There is no confusion about what happened there. You can see Cosmo making the move inside, and you can see the speed he got right out of that.
Yeah,
wonderful.
And maybe the fans can like actually go back and watch the older seasons, like give us timestamps, like to check out, because admittedly, I don't have the time to go back and watch all of Marbula 1 seasons 1 and 2.
Truthfully, I'd like some emails. I would like some emails, just even a couple people. Because I'm assuming there's some people out there who really like the details of marble sports. I mean, that's why you're listening to a podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would like to hear what you guys think about that. Is that something you've noticed forever, or something that you learned just from me on the show? I mean, like, what is your thought on that? Is that even something that you even consider a high-level maneuver, or you're just like, oh, that's just all luck? What is your thoughts on that? Because I think it's a big part of Marbula 1 racing. Always worth pointing out, because often, if it's used in the right moment, it can really devastate the current standings in a race, because it really shakes things up for 2 marbles, which can shake things up for so many surrounding marbles. But I'll leave it there. Waff, you want to talk about anything else race-wise?
Well, Cosmo then got 5th place in the race, but barely, just barely.
Team Galactic.
So yeah, they got that 5th.
It is crazy that their 5th stats are way higher than anybody else's 5th stats, which is really crazy. Like how? Like physically, dude, how?
It's like it's on par for me with like the statistic of Helios winning a lot of Marble Mayhem and MSPN. It's one of those things where it's just like, how? How does this keep happening?
I mean, and it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be as consistent as it is. Maybe it's like a science we don't even understand yet. I mean, I don't even know.
We kind of understand the science. Like we talk about it multiple times, like how marbles aren't made perfect and they have micro damage over time. And like MFA brought that up a long time ago.
Yeah, but the butterfly effect type of factors that go into a marble sports race that has 20 marbles in it, and for across not just Marbula 1, but all the different types of events and tournaments that happen here in JMR, to continue to have one team by far and away get 5th way more than any other team, not just in individual events, but over the course of many different individual marbles and overall finishes. It is crazy.
It is crazy. It's
really
ridiculous.
crazy.
And it's these things that I love about marble sports so much. When those weird correlations continue to happen that form those ideas of actual sentience almost, and consistency and skill, really, and I love it. It's so great.
Yeah,
I'm
happy with
racer.
Dash.
Dash.
I'm assuming you'll bring up
Dash. Wow.
It is one of the reasons I'm super impressed with Dash here. I don't know if you caught this, Waff. But when in the back 5 laps, say, or even the back 8 laps of this race, things really cleared up in the front. You were really just looking at Yellow Eye, Dash, and a little bit of Shimmer in those back 8 laps. And usually when things clear up and Yellow Eye kind of has space to do whatever he wants, and he's not pulled back by those pack of marbles, Yellow Eye gets what he's looking for. But Dash held off on Yellow Eye for like 5 laps, where it was just Yellow Eye, really. It was really just Yellow Eye. I don't know when it really starts. I'm going to jump ahead here in this video. I think it was like around like lap 11. It might have been a little later.
Looking at the chart, lap
more like
10
the last
is,
few
right
laps. Yeah, but like when Shimmer flips back and Yellow Eye is just, you look at it, it's just Yellow Eye, Shimmer, and Dash. And Dash still holds out against Yellow Eye for all those laps. It's really cool. I don't know. I just thought that was like impressive because Yellow Eye, it's hard to beat Yellow Eye. I mean, Yellow Eye found an easy way around
this track
Sugar.
too. This track is Yellow Eye. Yellow Eye is good at this track. And
yeah, won last time.
Yeah, it's like, and it's crazy to see. I'm glad to see Yellow Eye doing better. Like I know, like Crazy Cat's Eyes winning, like we're winning again would be repetitive and boring. But like Yellow Eye, like has been kind of like people be like, is Yellow Eye actually good? It's like yes, Yellow Eye is good.
Yellow Eye is
like, now they can show it again. It's like yeah, I'm doing amazing. Where are they in the individual standings right now?
Where's Yellow Eye in the individual standings? I don't know. I'd have to jump ahead and see stats.
Here we go.
Great question.
Yellow Eye is currently in.
Yellow Eye's in fifth.
Wow, they moved up 9 places. Dash went up 12.
Wait, Yellow Eye is not as high as I thought. Red Eye had a much better season so far. But then again, Yellow Eye is really good at this course.
Mm-hmm. And Red Eye is just 1 point behind Clutter. Clutter is still that's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean Clutter but Clutter had some good races, and even the race where we praised Red Eye, it was a very good Clutter race.
Right, and I forgot there's an asterisk on it. So Clutter has raced one extra race so far.
Clutter has raced another.
Oh, and so is Yellow Eye and Dash.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. But
so Red Eye and Orangin are probably going to retake that top place in the next race.
Well, yeah, unless they do. Red Eye is not going to get a 0-pointer. That's never happening.
No, that's not going to happen. I mean, like, that's Rapidly's thing to do. Rapidly, all these
Poor
0-pointers.
Rapidly.
And what did Rapidly?
Rapidly.
Let's talk about Rapidly. Hey, high term. Let's talk about Rapidly. What did Rapidly finish? Let's remind ourselves where Rapidly finished. I finished 9th, so I guess I can't get too mad. But again, come on. Is this... I mean, you can't justify all those zeros and then throw a bunch of 7s in there and say he's worth... We shouldn't try Wizzy or shouldn't try Swifty or whatever. I don't know. I just don't understand it. There needs to be a new Savage Beater out in the Marbula 1 world. Needs to be a new one. Should be a new one. I just want to remind people, whoever might be a little doubtful again about Rapidly being in there next season, the Savage Speeders are in 14th place. Do you think the Savage Speeders like being in 14th place? Do you think this is where they are happy being? Do you think they like having similar points counts to the Gliding Glaciers, who didn't even exist the last 3 years? No! I'm answering the question for them. No! Try a new marble. If the Savage Speeders were sentient, Rapidly would already be done. Okay, that's true. They would remove him from the race and overwork Speedy or something. Come on, guys. Don't be ridiculous. Savage Speeders, they gotta cut him out. They gotta try someone new. And I'm sure Rapidly would be okay with that because he seems to excel and enjoy Marble League a lot more anyway. Okay, so we got live chat saying Rapidly is high risk, high reward. I mean, what's the reward? I don't care about a few medals if you put up 7 zeros.
I guess that is the nature of high risk, high reward, right? Like, yeah, if you like they can have a good position, but I think they are more risk than they are reward.
High risk, high reward means that there is a very high negative, but that means there is a high reward. What is the high reward? Tell me what the high reward is. Because I'm not seeing much high reward. No, but the Speedy carried that. They had 4 zeros in season 2. 4. Waff. 4. That's a lot. That's a lot of high risk for a couple medals. When I am telling you that the other options, the other cards on the table include Swiftly, Wizzy, Velocity. I mean, those are wonderful cards. That's like having a royal flush, but playing a 2-pair.
Yeah, Well, there's something like important to mention here. Both the
Wow.
Savage Speeders are in 24th and 25th overall. They're not even in the top half.
I mean, come on. Well, yeah. Well, Speedy's having a tough year too, but I think Speedy he's done well enough in the previous years that he's not someone that we should scream about as much because he has proved that his high reward comes with less of a risk. We'll say because he was consistently very good the first 2 seasons.
He was. They were. Like, I don't know what like. I think we talked about this before. Like, but like, are the Savage Speeders on a decline? Are they?
And we had that conversation, and honestly, it's possible.
It's possible.
I just can't get around. I can't find a way around where I think, well, how do you know? How do you know? Live chat again. That Swiftly, Wizzy, and Velocity are meh, as you say. You don't know. You just know you have these wonderful cards on the table. You're talking 3 of the best marbles overall. You know what one of them gives you. You know what Rapidly gives you, 4 zeros. You don't know what they give you. You couldn't possibly say they are meh because you don't know. You just know that overall, they're quite the group of marbles. And one of them's got to be given a shot.
That's true.
When you're
very right.
When you have an arsenal that has such overall quality, another option is worth a shot for a season. And when you're sitting by the Gliding Glaciers in the bottom half, going into race 8, then as the Savage Speeder coach, you know, I'm making calls for the bullpen for the following year, if you know what I'm saying. I can't get around it. I cannot find a way around this where I think Rapidly might stay. I can't.
Yeah, I will say.
Where it makes sense, at least.
I think the best way for the Savage Speeders to test this out is the next time they have a friendly competition or an event in a less important Marble League, for instance, that's very similar to a Marble League or Marbula 1 track, they should test out one of those 3 and see how they do. Because like it would be like a low risk situation where it's not like the Marble League title is on the line or anything. It's just like it's a friendly match, but that'd be a good way to gauge. Hey, here's what their skill is.
Yeah, I wish they could do that. I'll respond to a couple more live things and then we'll move on. So one person coming in trying to redirect us how the sliders win. I mean, which is a good point,
and
by the way.
Fastest lap. And fastest lap.
Yeah, and fastest lap. Listen, I'm not saying anything about ML 2022 with the context of the Turtle Sliders. Because remember, we're talking about a team that is not very good in the Marble League. Like, really bad in the Marble League. Like, showdown bad in the Marble League. But I will say, Dash showed signs of being able to do this right from the beginning of Marbula 1, Season 3. We saw instances where Dash had very good qualifying finishes. We saw instances where Dash had moments towards the top, moments in the top 5, moments in the top 3 earlier on. Didn't stay there because, you know, he struggled, but showed potential. And I think that we saw hints of that earlier on. You know, it wasn't just a last place marble just, you know, getting nudged ahead, right? I mean, we saw potential there, and it was good to see it kindly come to fruition. Mm-hmm. But I will say, to respond to the other comment, Rapidly's top half finishes equally weigh the zeros? No. Last year's season had 12 races in the season. Rapidly raced 6. Rapidly, in 6 races, Rapidly scored 4 sets of 0 points. In 6. That's already more zeros than top half finishes. Not to mention that, like, unless you're scoring only golds, probably plus a bonus point too, let's be real. A gold balances a 0. So score only golds and equal the zeros, and then you can talk to me. But that's not even what happened. He doesn't score only golds. Okay. Nor does he even equal the top half finishes versus zeros. A bronze is not enough. Whatever. And by the way, come on, where are they finishing now? What are the standings now? I mean, Okay, I'm not going to go too much more rapidly. I could yell about this for full episodes because it is so clear to me, yet so unclear to most people.
People are just really wanting to give Rapidly the benefit of the doubt, and y'all know me. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I even give Dion.
Every single human from WAF. If you want benefits of doubt, chat, okay? WAF.
I give it to humans and non-sentient beings alike. And even I'm like, Rapidly has had their chance multiple times. And while, sure, Speedy is also not doing good this season, the fact of the matter is that this is uncharacteristic for Speedy. For Rapidly, this has been consistent now since season 2. They need to try someone else. They just gotta try someone else.
Back to Momomomomo along these same lines. If you look at how Rapidly raced in this race, I mean, he threw away opportunity. I mean, it wasn't even, I mean, like, it wasn't like it's just like one little area of his racing that needs to be like pulled together and then he's like back to putting it all away. Wait, I'm trying to get the starting grid. Do we have a list of the starting grid?
Well, I know that Rapidly started in 7th. And then they shut down to, like, what was it?
What did they end in? 9th?
17th in lap 3.
Yeah, I know. I saw him in 17th, and that bothered me. And I think he ended in... God, it's annoying flipping around these videos to get the stats I want.
Not as bad as Prim, though.
Yeah, but, like, Prim is not on the table to be on the Savage Speeders vanguard of Marbula 1. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So honestly...
Sure, but like Prim has been known to be was at least in season 1 was known to be a good racer, and in season 2 they were then doing very good. Prim is the Rapidly of Team Primary now. We've been, oh my gosh, I don't know why I finally put that together, but that is so true. Prim is the Rapidly of Team Primary.
That's the takeaway. It's takeaway from this episode.
I'm sorry, Prim. I don't mean to pile on the hate, but it's undeniable.
It was really bad to see both of those marbles go from, first of all, Prim really threw it away, but Rapidly also threw away a relatively easy Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Got into Q2, wonderful. And really did nothing with it when you talk about Rapidly, at least when you face Rapidly, if you were talking about it back in like season 1, say, I mean, like, that's a tough racer, and you should be at least coming out in the top half of Q2 there. And he just got stuck in the pack and nothing, and then dropped down to 17th and barely climbed his way back up to 9th. So he made it okay. But I mean, these are not wonderful finishes. These are not golds balancing out zeros. I mean, the marble couldn't even like stay within the top half, or even face marbles that are not even big deals in the Q2. I mean, like Rapidly was going up against the likes of a. Oh, God, I gotta get the starting grid again if I can. But, like, I mean, going up like Cosmo. I mean, Cosmo's not supposed to be better than Rapidly. Dash is not supposed to be better than Rapidly. Prim is not really either, maybe in this scenario. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, he wasn't going up against 7 crazy cat's eyes in the Q2. I mean, it just should have been better. Should have been better based on what people have been saying regarding Rapidly. Anyway.
Yeah. And further evidence for Prim being Rapidly, I'm pretty sure there's a past race where Rapidly qualified near the top, if not in first place, to start the race in pole, and then finished near the bottom, just like how Prim did this race. First to 18. 18, man!
And when Waff's yelling, you know it's serious.
So
that
bad.
is really bad. But, again, I mean, well, Primary's not winning any seasons, are they? That's Momomomomo. Let's do a quick survey here. By survey, I mean kind of a...
Oh, Shining Swarm. We should talk about Shining Swarm. Shining Swarm. Shimmer. Hello.
Do you want to talk about Shimmer?
Shimmer did awesome.
Do you have any thoughts regarding Shimmer that are worth sharing?
Shimmer did I'm looking at the graph. My word, Shimmer. 4th, then all the way down to 11th for lap 2, and then it's like, I'm climbing, baby.
Actually, I'll put this graph up here so we can...
Held first place for a decent chunk there. Shimmer's doing good. The Marbeats are coming.
Shimmer here, yeah. Shimmer almost had that most laps led, which is not a distinction in GMR, but still something I think about now because I'm RML. They almost managed that, and they led a chunk of a race where Yellow Eye was a problem.
Yeah.
So that is also impressive. My problem with Shimmer. Do you want to talk about Shimmer? Because you seem to want to. My problem with Shimmer in this race was that Shimmer. I mean, obviously we should commend him for being because this is probably the best he's ever raced, truthfully. But Shimmer was too easily thrown about by other marbles. Shimmer was not very forceful on the track. Shimmer was not very, how to say, he wasn't ever the dominant presence when there was a battle between two marbles. He was a fast marble. He knew how to race this course. Obviously practiced, obviously smart racing, but did not do well when having to deal with other marbles at the top, which became a problem. So he did lead for a while, but once there was some pressure, some real pressure, because look at this lead. I mean, he had gap, but once this gap closes, then it gets really hard for Shimmer, and things start to fall apart. Yellow Eye ran right over him. I mean, it was just easy.
Sure.
At that,
but I guess
point.
But maybe you can make an argument that like Yellow Eye, again, previous champ from this race against Shimmer, who has never raced here before.
Which is fair. But I just think that Shimmer was good when he got space, but needed space to hold a lead. Once there was pressure, he didn't know how to do anything about that, which made it very hard for him to actually win, even though he raced well.
Yeah.
And coming off this elevator here, this was Dash's thing, and Shimmer had, you could just tell it was a hesitant movement. And then once Yellow Eye got right on top, I mean, Yellow Eye just out-juked him here from behind, really. I mean, so I don't know. I just thought Shimmer was not as bold as he should have been out there on the track. And so once other marbles were making big moves, Shimmer didn't really have any responses to the moves, you know?
Sure. And we're coming up on a little long here. So I guess the last thing we'll mention is like how Motorway, like Greg is talking about like maybe it being a classic. And honestly, I think I might have to agree. Like no Momo bias here. Like it is one of the most consistent tracks. Like it has received very little changes, and aesthetically, it just like it's gotten better over time. I feel like Motorway is one of the best tracks that they've had.
No, I personally think it's such a balanced track that it always makes for a solid race. It always makes for a race that forces marbles to really show raw skill. There is not much luck involved in Momotoe.
True. Everything
is placed in a way that forces marbles to really be smart on the track. You have that split moment. You have to be smart with that split moment. Sometimes the outer line's actually a little faster. You have the drop followed by longer straights and turns. So it's not just luck and bouncing around. No, you have to be smart about how you drop, where you drop to, when you choose the lanes to speed up. Like you have to be smart because you have room to race. Then that technical section at the beginning with the turns and chicanes. I mean, that forces marbles to have agility on the track. There's nothing to hide behind. There's no toppings on the pizza, I guess is the analogy I'm going with, because someone always said to me that when I try a new pizza place, I always get the plain when they try a new place, because you can't. Sometimes if you go to a new pizza place and you want to see how their pizza is, but if you get someone with a lot of toppings, and you can hide behind the toppings, so you can actually feel like you're having decent pizza when the pizza itself's not that great, but they put all that buffalo sauce or whatever on it, and you just like that. So that's the analogy I'm going with here. There's no toppings on Momotoe. There's no toppings to hide behind. There's no weird honeycomb section for marbles to kind of pinball around in. There's no sand section for marbles to kind of get stuck around. You know, it's very plain pizza. It's a good plain pizza. Of course, it is a classic, and like it's a well constructed plain pizza. But I fuck with Pizza Hut too. Live chat or term in this case. I really like pizza. So I heard that from a podcast. I think a different podcast how they try new places. I think it's smart. You should try the plain first. You can't hide behind the toppings. But it's a good plain pizza, and it requires raw, intelligent racing. So that's why That's why I'm a big fan of MOMOMOMOMOMO, and that's why I think it was so impressive to see the likes of Dash and the likes of Shimmer do so well. Let's run through some emails. How about that?
Yeah, I think we've run our course on discussion here.
Okay. So Dave Knox writes in with the Crimson Lady as the subject, and we'll get to this after the emails, but I guess we'll cover a little bit now. He says, the best of the strong Utah representation in RML will be truly missed. So if you didn't know, Crimson Lady, I guess originates from Utah, is actually retired due to an injury. Oh, no, we talked about this last time.
Yeah,
we talked about this last episode. So due to injury, if you didn't know, injury, we talked about this last episode in detail if you want to hear that. This is the first marble, and I mentioned this actually in my commentary for the race. This is the first marble. I say first because I think the Crazy Cat's Eyes are gonna be the second by the end of this season of Marbula 1. But this is the first marble, and right now the only one to not just repeat champion in a professional marble sports production, but be a consecutive repeat. 2 seasons in a row, first place, undefeated overall. Sorry, I got confused by LMAO. Brendan sure loves making takes about a podcast he's never listened to before.
When did you make a comment about the podcast, though?
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't. Comment. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that is irrelevant to anything we're talking about. Just keep going.
Okay,
I didn't hear it. Did you say anything about Let It Roll? I didn't.
Don't. I'm missing out on that. You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Yeah, I think Term has just got selective hearing. Maybe
though. Term is also Term. Term also had a lot of things to say that didn't make a lot of sense last time he criticized an episode we put out. Listen, whatever. Love the guy to death.
We're talking about RML.
Yeah, I'm
here,
talking about Crimson Lady here. First consecutive repeat champion. That's a big deal. What really? Did you have to type that? You took away from one of the most incredible things done in marble sports. That is wonderful. Honestly, that is huge. And it's a shame to see that marble go because it actually is bona fide injured and literally is dangerous to have that marble race if you don't want the marble like split in half or whatever. So it will be missed. Thanks for writing in, Dave Knox. MBT writes in with the Marble Bowlers Tour. The Marble Bowlers Tour is unscheduled to premiere in fall 2022. Utilizing the sports talents of 35mm marbles, the MBT will feature over 60 individual marbles in its first season. A formal press release expected late July. Now, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, that seems like voice crack. That sounds like it could be very interesting. Like a new sport, kind of like how that Marble Baseball League almost started up for a bit and then just disappeared into the ether. Like maybe this could be something that actually sticks around.
I would like to see that.
It'd be cool.
I think he sent a photo of the tour logo.
Oh, but like a logo they made.
I mean, let's take a look at it. That is wonderful. I actually am excited because marbles and bowling kind of do seem to go together, so that's kind of nice. Hey, the logo's not bad. Has like a globe type of feel to it. Maybe you can get someone like Tim Ritz to spice that up. But honestly, logo's not bad to begin with. Good stuff, man. I can connect you with Tim Ritz if you want him. By the way, I talk to him sometimes. Anyway. Dude, I'm excited for that. If you actually release videos, y'all talk about Stardust Track already? I came in late. What's Stardust Track?
I guess it's the next track. And did they show? Oh, right, they showed teasers for it on Twitter. It does look dope. It looks very dope. There's a lot of planets.
We did not cover this. I also don't look at Twitter. So if it's on Twitter, yeah, of course they're doing boosters now. Honestly, I'm gonna have a lot to say. I'm going to criticize highly their booster use if it's not very good. But I'm excited anyway to see how it goes.
Aesthetically, this track might become my favorite just because it looks like they put a lot of effort into this one. You're gonna
I'm
like
excited
this
to see it anyway. No, I don't check like Twitter though very often because I don't like Twitter. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Richard writes in. Waff already pre-responded, but we always read his anyway because he always has some interesting. Richard's emails I like a lot because Richard will ask Marble sports questions from the creator's perspective, trying to create something good. Like he will ask questions about like how to order events, and then it provides for some fun little analysis. Might give some tips to people trying to make Marble sports. So I always like to read them. So he says dice push and long jump. He says for my dice push and long jump contestant. Round 1, 24 marbles, top 16 advances to semifinals. Okay, what? I have to restart. Okay. For my dice push and long jump contestant. Or contest, maybe he was trying to say. So for those two events, round 1, 24 marbles, the top 16 advance to semifinals. Semifinals, 16 marbles, top 8 advance to the finals. Finals, 8 marbles. Okay, I think I can get that. The question is, should the results of round 1 carry over to the semifinals and the results of round 2 and the semifinals carry to the finals, or should they start at each round at 0 and only use the earlier rounds as tiebreakers? I would lean. Oh, that's hard. I would lean zeros.
Yeah, I lean with the idea like kind of like how in JMR, like you go up the bracket, you don't keep the score you did last time,
right?
Unless it's high jump.
Yeah, but that's different, and only because sometimes, especially with something like dice push or block push, I guess is really what it is, or especially in long jump too, someone can like a marble or two can have like a fluke really crazy jump or push, and they could just ride their round 1 win and do crappy in rounds 2 and 3, but ride their round 1 win through. When you're really testing for continued consistency marble to marble. You're contesting, can this team win and then win again and then win again? Not, can this team do so good in one round that can kind of be mediocre and carry it through? So I'd say zeros for sure. And then, yeah, you can use them as tiebreakers. It's good.
Yeah. But before, I'm just getting news about this. Apparently people are complaining about this. Brendan, you do realize that red number 3 is a repeat champion, right?
Red number 3 repeat champion?
Yeah,
really?
Red number 3 is repeat. So Crimson Lady's not like the first. And even if it was, like, it's like...
I guess it would depend if I consider Sand Marble Rally a professional Marble Sports production the way I consider Marble League and Marbula 1 to be.
Brendan, they are two different types of races. I don't even think it really matters, honestly. Like say, you're a repeat champion in Marbula 1 is different from being a repeat champion in Marble League, just as it's a different being a repeat champion in Sand Marble Rally, as it is being a repeat champion in RML. I don't know. I think it's kind of just like people are probably complaining in the Marble base about the RML video when you said that. So I'm just gonna say right now, like, people, let's calm down. Like I get what, like, I kind of get what you're saying, Brendan, but you did kind of just forget about red number 3 there.
I did forget. Okay, I'm gonna admit. By the way, can you make a note to clip this audio and send it to those people so they can get a full understanding of that I made a mistake. So here's what I have to say about it. This is my response to that. First of all, yeah, I'll be honest, I forgot about red number 3 because honestly, Sand Marble Rally always takes a slightly lower place in my head than the other things. Marble League and Marbula 1. I could see both sides in this, and obviously in the video I said all of Marble Sports. I actually did say all of the professional Marble Sports.
You did.
So the question then is, do I consider Sand Marble Rally professionally produced Marble Sports the same way I consider M1 and why did I blank on this? Marble League. Yeah, God.
You better be careful you're answering. You might just dig yourself a deeper hole.
No, it's okay. It's okay. They know what I'm getting at. Sorry. So I'm reading chat at the same time. The marbles are different sizes. So I think they're different. They're like almost, to me, just like they're different things. It's hard to compare any racer from Sand Marble Rally to a racer from, like, I'm not going to ever compare a Savage Speeder to Red number 3 and really feel like it's going to make sense. Did I make a mistake and forget? Yes. But do I think that in some degree it holds up? Yes. Can I go back and change the video at this point? No. You know why? Because Bill doesn't care. That's really why. If you were to message the Racing Marbles guy right now and let him know that, I'm sure I kind of don't think he's going to be like, oh, well, we better re-upload the video. He probably just enjoyed the exaggeration of it all. But now that it's like out, I just feel, was it worth forgetting? Maybe. I mean, like, no, in this case, better phrased, in 16 millimeter marble, professional produced marble sports.
There you go. That's
Crimson
more
Lady's
accurate.
the first.
Sure. And then some people are like, well, what about Cobalts and Showdown?
That doesn't mean any. No, that's different. Okay, that one I would argue for episodes on, because that's wrong.
I saw that
okay?
in the Marble base just now when I looked over there.
So to address that, Showdown is a precursor event to Marble League. To do well in Showdown is so you can compete in Marble League. Since Marble Showdown is not the end of the line for that whole tournament, that's not the crowning achievement, then you can't call a repeat championship in Showdown. Because really, think about it, the better you are, the further you are from a repeat champion in Showdown, because then you won't be in Showdown twice. So that doesn't, it's illogical to use that. I will say I forgot Red number 3 though. I'll admit that. Again, I don't know what to tell you.
At least you admit
it made for an exaggerative statement in the commentary.
Sure.
I appreciate that a lot of people are watching the RML videos though that are in the Marble base and appreciating the content. Just think about all the other commentary I've done. Hopefully that kind of balances out the mistake.
Oh my gosh, you got like I've been slacking on catching your stuff. I don't know why it's taking me. Like this just shows how really zoned out I am sometimes. Like recently, that should have been such an obvious thing to catch up. I was like, wait a minute, what about Red number 3?
I would say, in final conclusion, I just want to make sure I end with something clear. Apologies for forgetting. I think it's valid. I wish I could rephrase my statement to say in 60 millimeter professional marble sports. So I'm wrong in what I said, though I do make a distinction. There we are. Do what you want with that information, but Showdown repeat champions don't count, okay?
That's fair enough. Fair enough there.
They count less than if I made a marble competition in my bedroom, uploaded the fuzzy video on my carpet and said, oh, well... Blue Banana won twice in a row. You know, it doesn't, you know.
And that's not racing. That's competition. Like the competition and racing aren't the same thing.
Yeah, it's not a championship. I agree, I do. Colossal Showdown Gods put some. Yeah, they have respect on their name, but they're not Crimson Lady. Do you know what Crimson Lady is? Crimson Lady, in my opinion, unfortunately she's injured, so we'll never get to know this. Unfortunately, Crimson Lady could easily put up a good fight against Yellow Eye or Red Eye.
Dude, that's like I wish we could have seen someday. Like Crimson Lady, Yellow Eye, Red Eye, Speedy, all in a race together.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, Red number 3, different size, so we can't even. It's not applicable.
Yeah, we can't do that. You can't do that.
All right, so, Waff, can you make a note right now to take this whole past couple minutes and then send me an audio clip, and then we'll make sure it gets sent around to people who are actually might want to hear what I have to say about it, I guess.
I gotcha. I'll make sure to send it to you once it's finished.
Wonderful. Write it down when it happens. But anyway, let's finish up these emails with a couple more. This will be a longer episode, but I don't know. We enjoy doing this. Okay. So this is Overrated, Underrated from James Gator, my video editor, by the way. Okay. Episode 125. He says, episode 125, you said you'd be cool with people emailing these in. Yeah, overrated, underrated. In general, I just think those are always fun to argue about, and I love talking. I love Term, who's in live chat right now. I love arguing with him, but I love arguing in general. So, Term, do you know I love arguing with you? I'm talking directly at him right now.
No, really?
Love talking to Term. It's actually one of my favorite things. One of my favorite pictures in my phone is that selfie of me and Term. Anyway, which is not even in my phone. I think it's in his phone, but whatever.
Brendan, stop getting distracted.
Okay, terms here, so I'm talking to him. So yes, overrated, underrated. Email those in. So here are 2 random ones from me. Overrated. Term says you're my favorite person to argue with. Send a pic to the chat. Term, you're really a blessing from heaven. All right, overrated orange juice. Agreed. Overrated orange juice. Underrated apple juice boxes. Based
Specifically.
Based. I love apple juice boxes. One time I was I went out, got coffee with this girl. She's just a friend. Friend now. And I remember like she got some crazy coffee from Starbucks, and I went up to the Starbucks counter and I picked up just the apple juice box and it was like this, Shit, my headphone fell off. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting this apple juice box." And she's like, "Oh my god, I remember that." It was silly, but the apple juice was good.
I think I've had an apple juice box a long time ago when I was a kid. I haven't had one since.
This was within the last year.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Overrated. Huge dramatic TV shows, i.e. Stranger Things, Riverdale, Euphoria. Yeah, I'd agree to some degree, yes, unless the story is really good. Underrated. Joe from Blue's Clues. Steve is amazing, but Joe was a better fit, in my opinion. Okay, that's it. XD.
Okay. There you go. You go first.
No, I can see Waff is like bursting. He's bursting at the seams,
Okay.
like if you squeezed a chip bag and it was about to pop. Go ahead.
All right, so it sounds like you were also there the day that he left. That sorrowful day. I remember sitting in my living room back at my old house for the premiere of the 3-part Joe special, as Joe was introduced in the show and Steve left us. And it's been so long since it's a kid's show, I haven't rewatched it. But like, I enjoyed Joe. I did. But like, dude, okay. The things that like the thing that exists in my brain forever is the Blue's Clues Christmas special. Like that gives me such great vibes, and Steve is then that one. Steve is in my heart. I need to. Joe didn't get as many episodes. I checked it. Like he's like 8 or 16 episodes. Like not very many. So it's hard to compare the two. I have to go back and rewatch. Am I gonna actually go back and rewatch? I might go back and watch Blue's Clues.
I've been through all Phineas and Ferb recently. It's totally fun to do that.
Well, Phineas and Ferb is rated G. It's meant for all audiences. Blue's Clues was meant for preschoolers. But
well, we're doing a podcast about Marvel sports. I think
Fair
we're
enough.
within the category of that being a possibility.
I'll go. So I think I might actually either for next episode or in 2 episodes, depending how long it takes. I'll go back and watch some old episodes of Blue's Clues with Steve. My favorite ones from Steve, and then I'll probably watch a good chunk of the Joe ones, and I'll compare the two. It's been a while.
You know what? I just realizing now. Okay, I'm gonna respond to that in a second. I'm just realizing now that the ping I had in the marble base. No, I haven't checked the marble base since the episode came out about Crimson Lady. So I'll probably have a couple pings in there. That'll
Send the Barney. Oh my gosh, term. Send the Barney episode I was in.
I will say I like both of them. I mean, Steve, I haven't watched Blue Clues in a while. I loved that show. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid, but I can't really speak to who I think's better. So I'm just gonna go with Steve because Waff is with me. But I think both of them were good. Yeah. So I would have to watch again to choose. But I liked both of them. I think both of them did exactly the job. I have 4 pings in the marble base, and they're around. So
yeah. Wait. Okay. Since Term brought it up, I can't remember. I brought up the fact that I was at Barney once, right? Have I brought that up? Pretty sure. Like me and my family were in a Barney movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we brought that up before somewhere.
Now I'm just looking through the whole thing. It's like the MSW was refused to cover smaller custom competitions because they're not good quality and not as pot. Oh, so someone's getting upset that they say all Marvel sports all the time, and the idea is that if it's worth covering, would it cover it? We're not one channel specific. He thinks it's unprofessional. Okay, so he's saying it's pretty unprofessional to call it Savage Beaters or SMR in the competition, and they don't know about the custom competitions. So I don't think it was unprofessional to call it Savage Speeders. I honestly think it was a good thing, only, and this is my opinion, I guess, because I'm acknowledging that the worlds of marble sports are they're not independent of each other. Savage Speeders still exist while Crimson Lady also exists. So I kind of liked the meta of like being like, oh, we're in RML now, but in this universe of RML, there is also the Savage Speeders in their own universe in Marble League, and they're all in that same Marble Sports universe. They're all there. They're all different, they're not necessarily ever going to interact, but they're all there in the world. So I'm like, if you were to throw yourself into the Marble Sports world and it was real and sentient, and it was all the marbles that ever existed all in one special marble world, well, I mean, all the very high level competitions would probably know about each other, since this is how it is. Like, you know about all the big sports competitions in the world. I mean, it would be common knowledge to marbles highly involved in marble sports to know as much about the Savage Speeders than they would about Crimson Lady. So in my opinion, calling that out is not necessarily unprofessional or professional. It's not a question of that. To me, it's just logical with the understanding that marbles all exist in the same world. So we're just like, from the marbles perspective, because I guess we're assuming marbles are watching and listening to this in the roleplay sense, they are going to know about the Savage Speeders as much as they're going to know about Crimson Lady. I know they would know about Red Number 3 as much as they know about the Speeders and Crimson Lady too. So again, my bad. But the point being that I think that's logical in some way, or just like sensible, or at least cool, to make a nod to other marble sports within one video. Bill didn't Bill doesn't have a problem with it. He probably thinks it's fine. I mean, if he had a big problem with it for some reason, then I guess it would be unprofessional, but he would have said something. Like, it's because he watches through the whole thing. So, I mean, like, I think it was just sensible. It just makes sense within roleplay. I was wrong about SMR. Thanks for continuing to bring that up. To address the other thing, saying all motorsports all the time, that's our slogan. Now, yes, that slogan is kind of very... That's just a catchy thing. I mean, I guess we could work on updating our slogan. We haven't in about 130.
When was that recorded, actually? When was that recorded?
Like, third episode in. So that was 130 episodes ago that Mr. Cooper, Coop the comedian, actually recorded that for us. So, is it outdated in general? Yes. The idea is that just like if you go to like ESPN or like MLB Network, and I can't give you specific examples, but I know I've generally heard this. This is how I came up with the slogan. I've heard it said in like big sports channels who cover like MLB, who cover like NFL, like all the football action all the time, or all the best football action right here, or all the best baseball, the only baseball chain, like that kind of slogans where it's like, this is the place to be for information. So that's the idea of the slogan. It doesn't mean that I'm covering every single channel. The implication is that in the world of roleplay of marble sports, every marble who is into the sporting of marbles is not going to be following every mom and pop homemade in the world of marble sports. It would be marbles having fun by themselves competition. It's they would follow the big professionally established ones. So I'm in the world of roleplay, it's MSW being like all marble sports all the time, all those professionally established things to some degree we're covering. Do we really follow Fubica? No, but we've talked about that. We haven't just ignored why. But
we used to.
And they're hard to follow now too. Again, they've lost kind of their structure. But that being said, smaller custom competitions don't need to fall into that. The implication is just kind of like if you go to an MLB station and they're like, oh, all the baseball all the time, or another form of that. Like, it's like we're just going to be we're covering the big stuff and we're making sure we're analyzing it.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Like it is okay. So put it in perspective here. When I'm finally back to actually regular hours, I'm working 5 days a week from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I don't have the free time to watch every marble sports competition ever without giving up my other hobbies of video essays and voice acting. It's easier to keep up with this stuff when you're younger and you have that more free time. It's just not possible. But like the way I try to keep that worldwide section is I put other smaller channels in the scroll text at the bottom of the news, and I put links to their channels. It's not as in-depth of coverage, absolutely not. But like not only would it be hard to keep up with all that, I'm not as interested in other channels, but I still want to include them. So I try to keep the whole worldwide aspect through that.
Yeah, there is a live response. Thanks for pointing that out. I do. And actually, the guy then says he knows he's coming off a little complainy. And I just reading this part of the comment now. And he says it makes sense. I don't cover it. I guess he does make a good point though. If we cover the smaller stuff every once in a while, that could that does reach a specific audience. Like a lot of the people who listen make their own thing. Like Richard makes his own thing, and Pesky makes their own thing, and they both listen a lot. So I guess that's fair. It's just again what basically what Waff just said. We have little time, but a lot to cover, dude. I could go listen. And this is by the way, just so this is clear, all this information. I'm assuming we're probably gonna make a little special recording that I'm gonna send out to people who have. This is not directed at the specific people, more just in general, because I haven't really been in the Marble base in a while, so I don't know what if people are confused about these general things, but at least for the Crimson Lady thing, whatever. Like I could talk for 5 podcasts worth just about like one of the races in JMR. Right? I could talk rapidly. I could go on and still come up with things that are to some degree useful information. So I'm saying like there's so much to cover and so much that can be said and so many different angles to take when doing analysis that it's hard to be like, all right, JMR, RML, all that, we covering. All right. Now let's talk about this thing that like, and granted, I respect everybody who makes Marble Sports because it's hard. But like, I mean, you know, something that's less than JMR or less than RML in quality, it's hard to make a whole segment for that, right? Because it's like the majority of the people listening are like, okay, well, but I watch JML. You're talking about this competition. That's wonderful. You're giving them some time, but that means you're taking time away from JMR. I mean, it's like we can't record 1 million episodes, you know? So
yeah, if we had the free time to do it, we would but we relearned early on. Like I remember that's why we did like the 2-parter system for the Melicus episodes. Like, oh, we have so much to talk about. Let's do 2 parts. But then like, okay, this is excessive.
We had 1 2-parter in our. We had like 2 2-parters. I think episode 100 was a 2-parter, but for different reasons. But I don't know. All that being said, just want to point all that out. That like at least give some feedback. At least the Crimson Lady part and the Cobalt's part will be a recording that you can listen to. I don't like a special little one. I don't know if we're going to put the other stuff out because it seems like it's just the one guy and then he does not really having much of a problem with it. But at least I guess it's good to explain that stuff. It's good to read. We got way sidetracked.
We went from Steve and Joe from Blue's Clues to talking about what the whole nature of our very show's slogan and name.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like seeing the feedback sometimes and like responding to the comments because like, not that I think that the criticisms aren't worth acting on. I'm just like, I just want to point out maybe where I'm coming from on it. So and then see what they're coming from on it. And it's always good to kind of see the back and forth. Anyway, let's do the last email. Shit.
Last email.
We're gonna have to push off the rest of RML the next time. Basically, rest of RML, dude. Serpent Smart, Swirly, dude. It was actually a really exciting race end.
That was an exciting race at the end there. I'll give it that. That was a pretty fun race.
I don't know. You know, I guess the one thing that might get to me a little bit is like I put a lot of effort into the commentary I do for RML. I've clearly improved over the last couple of years. I look at stats. I take all those stats and information into account. I study up on it a little bit. I am careful to prepare. I really put a lot of effort in to my commentary for RML, and I get good feedback most of the time. See you later, term. About my commentary from people who like listen to it that I might show, or like the people in the RML server, and like most of the commentary, like I say, I just put a lot of effort in, and I know that I'm improving a lot. Like every video even. So I guess every once in a while it gets me a little bit that like the one time I'm pinged in the Marble base for RML, it's because I made a verbal mistake on some information. instead of like, hey, dude, RML, you guys are doing great with the production. You're dude, you get better commentary every week there. That would be nice. Something, right? Because like, maybe a little bit of a balancing instead of just like, oh, nothing when I'm doing all right, and then like, oh, but wait, did he just say Crimson Lady was the first one to repeat? Shit, let's get on him. So I don't know. I'm just saying they can get to you a little bit. It's always the negative. But that being said, let's do the last email. Back and forth return for M1. Edu has to say, Mo Motoray actually became slower with the ramp because it's now just a sudden drop instead of a gradual slope. You have a point. But that one trouble point, the Sector 2 split, made for a race full of ups and downs. Yes, it was like a mini Muller corner idea. A lot of passes on that. Not as great as a Muller corner, but still the right idea. Those who were clean through it made the race. Those who rode it broke their race. CCE pulling ahead yet again. They got a silver while their opponents fumbled. Dude, they just keep applying major pressure. And honestly, I see them winning this season. That's my prediction. I think Crazy Cats. Obviously, that's a
very safe bet, Brendan.
Yeah, but we still have a lot of races left, and I'm like confident. Like I would put like $100 on it right now because it's just too consistent on the side of the CCE. I'm saying it from the perspective. I don't think there's any other valid prediction. I just don't think any other team really has it in them to be consistent enough to out consistent the CCE.
Out consistent.
I just don't think. Right. But good points made there. Well, after all that should.
Jeez Louise. We went from an episode that was under an hour to an hour, one that's probably going to be an hour and a half with everything else put together, maybe.
And that's how it be.
That's how it be on the MSW podcast. That should be our slogan. Marble talk for hours.
Some marble sports all the time, right here. I should change it to that just to bother that guy. That's going to do it. Roth, take us out when you're ready. We love Steve, we love Joe, and we love Crimson Lady.
Yeah, indeed we do. Blues can do, we can too, right out of the podcast. Roll on, Marble sports fans! What?